Alright, welcome back to My Dress Up Darling Anime Review, episode number 12. We're reviewing pretty much the last episodes released for the series. They aired roughly this year. Oh, by the way, these two episodes, if I can find the page here. I don't think I closed it out. Yeah, so basically we have the two major plots here basically built to the coffin cosplay, which does happen. And of course, basically, Maureen is struggling to confess her feelings for Gojo. Yes. Who she had discovered, she basically discovered herself that during the second half of season 1 for the show, that she had a thing for him. And she kept debating, maybe after this whole thing is over, maybe she'll confess her feelings for him. She does not, per se. Basically, she does get a chance to ask to do a selfie with him. But they do kind of wrap up mostly a nice little bow. I have not heard anything, if in fact there's going to be season 3 yet. I definitely think there's material for season 3. Oh god, yes, definitely. Yep. So, Coffee Tree was fine. We also found a character, basically, where Mari finds, basically, this prop maker is very nervous on her. Turns out she's a fan of her. She realized she's basically her celebrity for as her princess. Which, I thought that was really cool, the fact they developed that. And mostly put a lot of the stuff happened in the season wrapped up in a nice little bow. Though, I gotta admit, basically, for the season, it felt like a bit for storytelling. It felt as though, unlike last season, felt very relaxing to storytelling. This season, it's a lot of the time, it's basically Maureen struggling to figure out if she basically can have the heart to confess her feelings for Gojo. In the end, she doesn't, but don't worry. In case you're curious, though, exactly if these two end up together, you have to read the manga because we haven't had season 2 yet. And that's pretty much season 2 in a nutshell. Quite very interesting arc. They do, in fact, start off basically, here's kind of the thing. For Storks, anyways. So, the first arc, Shizuku Kari arc, that's roughly the first 5 episodes of season 1. Basically, the first 14 chapters of manga. The second arc, which is basically Flower Princess Blaze, that is 6 to 10. That is 15 to 30 of the manga. And then it's the Veronica arc, which is basically just 3 chapters. It's just basically just 1 episode. Liz arc, which is basically the second best one, that's 34-36. This is also the one where Gojo basically had Mari on top of him, and at one point he's basically his hands on her waist. Then we have the Festival of Fireworks arc, which took up 3 chapters and basically was episode for the last episode. Then we have Suzuku Part 2 arc. That takes up the first 2 episodes of this season. Actually takes up episodes 14 and 15. They basically don't go through much, basically. And then we have Arisa Iori arc, which that takes up 13 to 15. It's kind of weird, the fact that we have 2 arcs pretty much going the same period of time at each other. Yes. Then we have the Rikigami, which is 16 to 18. Takes up 13 chapters of manga, 51 to 53. Then we have new DSLR arc, that is 19 to 20 to 64 to 70 of the manga. The Coffin arc, which is literally the arc that ended the season, which is basically up chapter 71-85. And then they start the Mandate of Heaven arc. Yeah. But in the case of basically and this is kind of weird for this series per se, because they've been doing this weird thing where they've been skipping pages. I do not know why this is. Like, in the case of, like, because the first, like, because I'm looking at basically the episodes that they had adapted. Like, let's say episode 1, for example. Episode 1 covers just the first chapter. You're like, okay. Episode 2, 2 through 4, full chapters, no problem. 3, 5 through 7. 4. 4 is 8 through 10 and pages 1 through 6 of chapter 11. Chapter 5 is 2 to 19 of chapter 11 plus 12 to 14, but at least they're adapting the next episode. 6 is, well, they finished that chapter. They adapt 115 and 17, and for chapter 16 pages 1 through 4, 6 to 22. They skip page 5 for some reason of chapter 16. Don't know the reason for that. And then for episode 7, it's basically adapting chapters 18 and 19, the first 15 pages of chapter 20. But you're like, wait a minute. What about that missing page? Page 5. They don't adapt it. Episode 8, 15, 20, and 21, 23. 9. 9 is basically 19 chapter 24, the entire chapter 25, 26, 27, and chapter 26, pages 1 through 9, and 11, 22. And then we have, and this is kind of interesting, the entire chapters for episode 10, 29, 30, and 33, but in the case of chapter 31, they adapt it's basically 4 through 5 and 9 through 20. Yeah, they pretty much skipped over the first 3 pages and pages 6 to 9, which you're like, why the heck would I do that for? I have honestly no idea. Episode 11, 34, 36, no problem there. Episode 12, page 1 and 16, 20 of chapter 37. The entire 38. They probably skipped I think the other page, chapter 30, was the cover story, but it's like the first 21 pages of chapter 39. And then it becomes really weird where they start adapting stuff out of order. Not sure why this is. So, for the opening episode of the season, they went straight to chapter 44, where they have only the first 17 pages, and chapters 45 to 47. 14, it's 40, 41, the first 2 pages, and pages 11, 20, 11, 40, 49. You're like, wait, what about pages 3 through 10? You're probably thinking, does at some point they adapt these pages? Yes, they do. They adapt the very next episode, 15, where they adapt that rest of that 42, 43, and chapter 50. Okay, not bad. 16. 51, 53. No problem here. 17. 54, 55, pages 14, 17, chapter 56. 57, 6 to 9, 11, 18, and 20. Along with chapter 58. They're like, wait, these get first 5 pages, 10, and 19? You think of the rest of the next episode? No, not really. 59, it's 5 through 6, 8 through 20, is 60 to 63. For 19, it's 64 to 65, 60, which is basically the first 7 pages plus pages 7 to 20, skipping 2 pages. All that thing 67. 20, 68 to 71, no problem there. 21, it's 72 to 74. Okay. 22, more skipping. This time just 1 page of page 14 of chapter 76, almost a whole chapter, but the whole 75, 77 are adapted for the episode. For 23, the penultimate episode of the season. 78, they adapt pages 1 through 4 and 6, 22. 79, 3 through 7, and 11, 26. Chapter 80, 1 through 15, and you skip over one page, it's page 16, and 17, 20, and 181. For the final episode, it's 1 through 5, 7 through 11, 15, 16, 18, 20, chapter 82, the entirety of 83. 84 is first 9 pages plus 11 20 of that chapter. 85, 1 through 9, 11, 13, 15, 18, 24. And the final chapter, 86, 1 through 3, and 7 through 8. Yeah, they'll fully adapt the chapter because that's pretty much the start of the Made in Heaven arc. And in case you're curious, though, there is roughly 2 more arcs left to go. If they do a season 3, I would just the first thing they do is adapt the pages they skipped over. For those of you curious, though, how many pages throughout, like, what was the first pages that they skipped that they never went back to? Well, in the case of, like, 24, yeah, I would suggest for the first couple episodes of the new season 3, adapt the missing pages first, and then basically continue with chapter 86, because that might be interesting to do. You have enough material to do a full episode to basically have all these missing pages. That's if, in fact, the series wants to do it. It's if. And then at that point, go through the entirety of Made in Heaven and the final arc of the series. And in case you're curious, though, how many chapters have we adapted the whole series? 29 and a half. Yeah, about that much. Yep. But, as the case season 2, it was pretty good. I don't think it was as good as season 1. I enjoy season 1. Season 2... it was okay. Some might think that storytelling-wise, it was a slight step down from the first season of the show. Possibly, but we do have really good voice acting for the show, so there's that. Yep, but yeah, that's pretty much it to the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video, which be Solo Leveling.